Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going behind the scenes of The Diary of a CEO. It's a podcast that has like over 1 billion streams. What's the big deal? Well, it's like you're getting a VIP pass to the minds of some pretty fascinating people. They've climbed to the top of their fields. But it's not your typical business success stories.
Yeah, you're right. It goes way beyond that. What's really interesting is the range they cover. We're talking like neuroscientists and even former spies, even experts on power dynamics, Like Robert Greene, he wrote The 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah, that episode with Green really got me thinking. He goes into some pretty intense strategies for building confidence, persuasion, and navigating power structures. It's a little controversial, but let's be honest. Who hasn't been in a situation where they needed to like finesse a negotiation or pitch an idea? Green's insights could actually be helpful there.
It's true. His work can be a bit Machiavellian, but understanding those dynamics is important in a lot of professional settings. Speaking of navigating complex situations, there's also a fascinating episode with a former CIA spy.
Oh yeah, that one is full of intrigue. He breaks down how to read people like a secret agent, how to spot deception, and even how to subtly influence situations. Imagine being able to decode those subtle cues in like a meeting or negotiation.
It's about developing a deeper understanding of human behavior. It's valuable no matter what field you're in. But this podcast isn't all about strategy and power plays. There's a lot of focus on personal growth and well-being, too. For example, there's an episode with a neuroscientist who talks about the connection between stress and, get this, belly fat.
You're kidding. What's the connection?
Well, Dr. Tara Scored explains that when we're stressed, our bodies release this hormone called cortisol, which, among other things, can actually be detected in our sweat. She highlights a study that showed a correlation between consistently high cortisol levels and, increased abdominal fat. It's a fascinating example of how our emotional state can directly impact our physical health.
That makes you think twice about those high-pressure deadlines. So it's not just about appearances, it's about our overall health. But she doesn't just leave us hanging with this scary statistic, does she?
Of course not. She offers practical strategies for managing stress and improving brain function, things like mindfulness meditation, even specific foods that can help.
Okay, so we've got spies, power strategists, neuroscientists. It's clear that The Diary of a CEO is not your typical business podcast. What else stood out to you as we were going through these episodes?
Well, one thing that's really fascinating is how this podcast challenges conventional wisdom. Like the episode with the Harvard professor who debunks common myths about exercise, sleep, and even sugar. It's all about questioning those long-held beliefs and looking for evidence-based information.
Yeah, he totally flips the script on some of the things we've been told for years.
Exactly. For example, he challenges the rigid 8 hours of sleep rule and points out that it really depends on the individual. Some people might thrive on less sleep while others might need more. It's about understanding your own body and what works best for you.
And that ties into something you might find helpful from another episode, the one with the former Google X officer who speaks out about the potential dangers of AI.
This is a crucial conversation to be having, especially considering how rapidly AI technology is advancing. He's not saying we need to be afraid of AI, but rather that we need to approach its development with a critical eye, thinking carefully about ethical guidelines and safeguards.
It definitely makes you think about the implications, both positive and potentially negative. Okay, so we've got a taste of some of the big ideas from The Diary of a CEO, but we've only just scratched the surface.
Welcome back to our deep dive into The Diary of a CEO. We've just started to explore some of the thought-provoking guests and themes, and there's so much more to uncover.
I'm with you. One thing that really resonated with me is how much this podcast emphasizes personal growth and mental well-being. It's not just about crushing in the business world. It's about taking care of yourself, both mentally and physically.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that true success is holistic. It's not just your professional achievements, but also your emotional well-being and sense of fulfillment. Remember what Dr. Tara Swart said about stress? She highlighted the importance of things like mindfulness and meditation for managing stress and improving brain function.
It's almost like she's saying you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're not taking care of yourself, it's going to show up in every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
From your work to your relationships.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that even Robert Greene, who's often associated with this strategic, almost ruthless approach to power, acknowledges the importance of emotional intelligence. He argues that understanding your own emotions and motivations is key to navigating social dynamics effectively.
That's a good point. It's not just about manipulating others. It's about knowing yourself and how you react in different situations.
Right. And this theme of challenging conventional wisdom, it pops up again and again. Think about that Harvard professor debunking those health myths. He really encourages listeners to question assumptions, do their own research, and not just blindly accept what they've always been told.
It's like he's giving us permission to be skeptical, which is so important in today's world. We're bombarded with information from all sides. Speaking of challenging assumptions, the episode with Mo Gaudat, the former Google X officer, really got me thinking. His take on the potential dangers of AI was pretty eye-opening.
Yes, it's a conversation we need to be having. He's not saying technology is bad, but we need to be mindful of the ethical implications as AI becomes more and more powerful. He actually draws a parallel between AI and the story of King Midas, whose touch turned everything to gold. At first it seemed like a blessing, but it quickly turned into a curse.
That's a great analogy. It reminds me of that old saying, be careful what you wish for. We might be creating solutions that ultimately create a whole new set of problems.
Precisely. He argues that we need to be thinking about the potential consequences of our technological advancements right now, not after the fact.
It's like we're at a crossroads where we get to decide how this technology shapes the future. And that's a huge responsibility.
It is. And that brings us to another important thread running through the diary of a CEO, the importance of action. It's not enough to just listen to these episodes and be intellectually stimulated. It's about applying what you learn and making changes in your own life.
You're so right. It's easy to get caught up in the ideas and forget to actually do something with them. What I love about the Diary of a CEO is that it's not just a podcast. It's a community. People are sharing their own insights, asking questions, supporting each other.
I agree. It creates the sense that we're all in this together, figuring things out and striving for something better, whether it's starting a business, pursuing a creative passion, or simply adopting healthier habits. We can learn from each other's journeys.
And that's what's so empowering about it. It's not just about individual success. It's about collective growth and creating a better future for everyone.
Exactly. As we head into the final part of our deep dive, I want you to think about which episodes have resonated with you the most. What are the key takeaways that you can actually apply to your own life?
And what actions can you take to move closer to your goals? Remember, even small steps can lead to big changes over time. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the Diary of a CEO. It's been quite a journey, exploring the minds of these incredible guests. And now it's time to distill all those insights into something we can actually use. What stood out to you as we were going through this?
Well, one of the biggest takeaways for me is the power of mindset. These successful people, no matter what field they're in, they all seem to have a certain mental resilience, a way of approaching challenges that really sets them apart.
It's like they just have this unshakable belief in themselves and their ability to figure things out. But it's not just blind optimism, is it?
No, it's much deeper than that. It's about self-awareness, understanding your strengths and weaknesses, and having the grit to keep going even when things get tough. Remember what Dr. Swart said about stress? Managing your emotions is crucial for making good decisions and staying focused on your goals.
And it's not about being perfect or never failing. Actually, a lot of the guests talked about failures they'd faced along the way.
Yeah.
What's interesting is how they viewed those failures, not as defeats, but as opportunities to learn and grow.
Yeah. That growth mindset is so important for anyone who wants to really achieve something big. I mean, think about it. Every successful person has a story of setbacks and challenges they had to overcome. It's those experiences that shape them and ultimately make them stronger.
So if you're listening to this and you're feeling discouraged because you've hit a roadblock, remember it's not the end of the world. It might actually be the perfect opportunity to reassess, learn something new, and come back even stronger.
For sure. Now, cultivating that kind of resilient mindset, it takes work.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that came up over and over in the podcast is the importance of continuous learning.
Yeah, they all seem to love soaking up information, whether it's books, podcasts, or just being curious about the world around them. But it's not just about passively taking in information, right? It's about applying it, experimenting, and figuring out what works for you.
Exactly. It's about developing critical thinking skills, questioning assumptions, and forming your own opinions. Remember that episode with the Harvard professor? He was all about challenging conventional wisdom and looking for evidence-based information. That's a muscle we need to be using all the time.
And that's what I love about the Diary of a CEO. It's not just entertainment. It makes you think more deeply, and it makes you want to take action. It encourages you to question what you think you know, explore new ideas, and get outside of your comfort zone.
It also highlights the importance of community and surrounding yourself with good people. Whether it's mentors, people you work with, or just a network of friends and family, having people who believe in you makes a huge difference.
It's like having a team of cheerleaders, but also people who are going to push you and hold you accountable. Don't be afraid to reach out to people you admire and ask for advice.
You never know who might be willing to help or give you a great insight. Remember, success isn't a one-person show. It's about working together, connecting with people, and building relationships that are good for everyone.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the diary of a CEO, I want to leave you with this. What's one thing you can do today inspired by what you've heard in these episodes?
It could be reading a book that one of the guests recommended, reaching out to someone for advice, or setting a small goal that gets you closer to what you want. Remember, even small actions can make a big difference in the long run.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive has been all about, taking inspiration from successful people and figuring out how to use it in our own lives. It's about understanding that success isn't some magical formula. It's a journey of learning, growing, and taking action.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing yourself to be your best. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be sharing your own story of success on a show like this one.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep learning.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you. You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.